one of the things that happened was that there were some people in the leadership of the Communist Party at the same time Barbara Hartle was, that decided that I was a problem to the Communist Party. And so they isolated me. And I wasn't a member of the Communist Party at the time when a lot of this happened. I was out of the Communist Party because they didn't re-register me. But I wasn't isolated from the party. And I knew a woman who had gone, in fact, she had taken care of my children when I had a problem. And she had gone and joined a group that were called Titoists. And they had decided that Tito had a better idea about how to struggle for socialism than the people in the Soviet Union. And she was isolated from the Communist Party, and I made up my mind that even though I was not in the party, I was going to stay close to the party.
Was Lou also isolated from the party?
For several years.
Okay.
For several years I was out of the party and not welcome. I wasn't isolated at the party, from the party people, at the People's Weekly World. It wasn't called that then, but whatever it was called at that time. They had picnics and they had affairs. And we had the Washington Committee for the Protection of the Foreign-Born. And I wasn't in the party, but I was associated with the party all the time. And in the Union, I was always politically minded. So when I left the Cooks and Assistants Union, it's a very hard job. Cooking in restaurants is very hard. So I decided that I had to find another job, and I won't go into how I did it, but I finally got involved in the printing industry. And see, that's where I got laid off. The guy, I became an apprentice, and then I lost my job. But no, I wasn't in the party for quite a number of years.
When Barbara Hartle named you,
yeah,
that was when you were not in the party?
No.
No, so
no, I wasn't in the party
then.
then.
What you're surrounding that. What was, so your mother-in-law told you that you had been named by Barbara Hartle.
Yeah.
What happened because of that? They didn't call you into the committee?
No,
or?
they didn't call me to the committee.
Okay.
I was just ignored. And my daughter wrote a little treatise recently in which she pointed out that I still kept the People's paper and went around the block, and there was one apartment where there was a room on one side of the hall, and right across the hall was another room, and they both took the paper, but they said, "Don't you tell my neighbors. Don't you tell the neighbors." And I thought it was such a shame, because you see here, we are all separated from each other by this terrible attitude toward communism and toward each other in a sense then. But I stuck with the party even though I wasn't a member. Finally, and I don't remember what year that was, 3 different people asked me to join the party. One was my daughter, one was the woman who had been the head of the Washington Committee for the Protection of the Foreign-Born, and the other one was a very dear friend who took my daughter Sally when I was having a physical problem. I'd like to describe it to you, but I think it's too long and too unnecessary. But I had to have somebody take care of all 3 kids for a little while. So
when these 3 people asked you to join the Communist Party, did you join then?
Oh yeah, right away.
Was your daughter a member of the Communist Party, or?
Yes, okay. My daughter was a member of the Communist Party.